Did Michael Carrick just get exposed for nearly losing to relegation-threatened West Ham United? No, not really. If anything, the somewhat less than impressive result has, in my eyes, improved his status as a manager. Let me explain. The first thing I want to go over is Michael Carrick's formation or system, if you will. Most lineups have Manchester United setting up in a 4-2-3-1, and I'm seeing loads of comments from fans showing how happy they are that the beloved formation is back. But I'm just not seeing it. For me, and for what I can see, Man United have set up in a 4-2-4 formation with two false nines. The front four of Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno and Ahmed are pretty much interchangeable. But basically my point here is when Manchester United don't use Sesko, they don't have a main striker as a focal point. There's no number 9, there's no traditional striker in the team. That's why I'm saying, I believe, they are playing with two false nines, mainly Bruno and Cunha. So when I'm watching the games, the 4-2-3-1 thing, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm basically seeing a 4-2-4. Is anyone else seeing the same? Or am I just going crazy? The build-up play has clearly shifted to a back three as well. Shaw goes higher up on the left, and that leaves Maguire, Martinez and Diallo to form a back three. It is a very unsymmetrical system in practicality. And I'm showing it on the tactics board now just to show it's a little bit lopsided. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, of course, like the performances and the results have been good. I'm just trying to show what it looks like in real time and, in practicality. But one thing's for sure is that most of Manchester United's play is focused through the middle. And this is where the biggest problem lied against West Ham. The Hammers set up perfectly to stop and negate Manchester United's advances through the centre. And then they used direct and quick counter-attacks to exploit the wide space using Bowen and Summerville, who both played really well. Time and time again, West Ham just let Manchester United play the ball through the middle. They just sat back in their 4-5-1 and said to Manchester United, yeah, just play it about, we don't care. It was incredibly noticeable that West Ham had no intention to press Manchester United in the centre when they were just passing the ball simply to each other. Instead, they intelligently decided to press Manchester United players only when the United players received the ball with their back to West Ham's goal. For example, we can see here Martinez has the ball in the centre and West Ham are giving him all the time in the world. The ball is passed forward and it's only when a Manchester United player receives the ball with their back to goal when West Ham trigger the press. And that for me was the clear trigger for the press, when a Manchester United player received the ball with their back to goal or in a tight, uncomfortable position. Otherwise, they just let Man United have the ball. West Ham stayed tight in their shape, blocked passing lanes, and refused to engage in Manchester United in open play, where United could then use their quick and intricate passing. This means that the West Ham team was never exposed. The United team found it very difficult to link up play and play 1-2s around players, which is what we've seen from the Carrick system often. And then West Ham utilised their own strengths incredibly well by using fast and direct counter-attacks when they were in possession. They were incredibly dangerous out wide, with Bowen and Summerville doing some of their best work. And West Ham had absolutely no interest whatsoever in playing the ball about and passing for no reason. More often than not, they would simply get the ball, get their heads up and look for a pass as soon as possible. And you can see it happening here. Fernandes for West Ham has the ball and has absolutely no interest in just playing it short and back to the defence and passing around for no reason. He's looking to play a longer ball out wide, and even though the pass is poor, notice Nuno on the sideline praising the idea. It's clearly what he wanted from his team. And for good reason, because where did West Ham's goal come from? Exactly. A long ball out wide to Bowen, who eventually sets up Souček for the goal. But definitely the most interesting tactical battle was West Ham's ability to soak up pressure and use smart trigger presses to stop the Manchester United advances, versus United's inability to pass the ball between the 10 men behind the ball for West Ham. And on the face of it, you basically see Nuno's tactics getting the better of Carrick's. But it is then at this point where Carrick proved he's got a bit about him as a manager, as he switches up his tactics during the second half. I want you to really note the offside goal from Casemiro. It is a rare occasion when the United players were able to exploit West Ham's tactics of not pressing in the central areas. Because no press is coming and it would only be triggered if the pass is to a United player with their back behind the goal or in an awkward position, Manu has all the time to find Casemiro's run and it almost works to absolute perfection. Immediately after this play, the camera focuses on Carrick and I couldn't help but think to myself during these moments watching watching him, he's thought of something there. And it's then when Sesko is brought on and Manchester United start playing a completely different style of football. Gone now are the two false nines and the attempts to play more intricate passing through the middle. And the play becomes more direct, and I think it's as a direct result of the disallowed goal. Carrick also changes it even more when Xerxes is brought on for Dalot. United change to a 3-2-5 formation and of course go way more gung-ho. Now, with more players in central areas like Sesko who are able to get onto longer balls and more direct balls, Manchester United players find themselves in that half space, deliberately trying to get direct balls into Sesko for him to score. And it works perfectly. Sesko scores at nearly the last touch of the game, and Carrick's tactics get Manchester United through. Now, all of these tactics changes to a more attacking formation seems quite obvious, doesn't it? You're losing a game with 10 minutes to go or whatever it was, so let's go and get more players forward. But let's not forget, Manchester United are coming off a previous manager who would not have done this. There would have been no formation changes. You know what? I say no more. But also, the last point I want to highlight, can I please give Carrick credit for that Yoro substitution? He knew United were obviously going to change to a more direct style of play, and the game itself would be way more wide and open. West Ham had already been proven to be extremely dangerous when the game did open up. So Yoro coming on from Maguire for that extra bit of speed and ability to handle a more wild style and more open style of game was incredibly smart. And boy did it pay off, because Yoro made two game-saving tackles in the space of about 1 minute to stop West Ham from scoring. The game would have been gone if it wasn't for Yoro. I don't think I've seen many people giving Carrick praise for this, but he definitely deserves it. In the end, we saw Carrick's player-centric approach come somewhat unstuck, but it also resulted in United getting the equaliser and eventually taking something away from the game and remaining undefeated. A team with Nuno in charge will always be hard to break down and will always be a dangerous opponent. And for me, Carrick did pass the test, although not with the perfect results. But hey, no one's perfect, and in the end, it's still 5 games undefeated. It's 13 points from a possible 15. I'm still impressed, but are you? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, as it would really help the channel. Cheers!